Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. So today we're going to be looking at the 2018 governor elections based off polling data as of today, Tuesday, October 23rd, 2018. So we start off the map with 7 Democrats not up for re-election and 7 Republicans not up for re-election. So the map is pretty much an even playing field. We have a current governor's, map right now with 16 Democrats, 1 independent, and 33 Republicans. So this election season, there are very many seats up. I mean, a lot more than any other time of the election season. 2016 had a couple. 2014 had a couple. 2014 had a number here. So all of the, not contested races, some are held in 2019 coming up. Some will be held in 2020, and then most of them will be every 4 years, every midterm election. So with 7 Democrats and 7 Republicans, we have a very interesting map starting off with the Republicans at nearing a supermajority in the NGA. The Democrats have made a gain since 2016 in the state of New Jersey, going in favor of the Democratic Party, holding on to Virginia. But right now, the Democrats actually do have some seats not up for re-election in a number of Republican states. States like Montana or North Carolina or Louisiana, which currently have Democratic incumbents that are not up for the election here. So they should be thankful about that. And then they also have some possibility of pickups in elections that are not here, like Kentucky or the state of Mississippi. Sorry, my voice is just fading away here. But with 7 Democrats, 7 Republicans, we're going to start off with the safe Republican seats and then move into the safe Democratic seats. The reason why I'm starting off with the safe GOP seats is because I want you to see the true effect of how many there are and exactly what it says for the 2018 midterm elections in the governor elections. So let's go ahead and start off with the state of Arizona. This is a race that previously was contested. The Democrat led here by plus 1% in the first poll ever taken here. The Democrat is now down by 18% in the most recent poll taken. So definitely a lot has changed in a number of these key Republican states. The Senate race hasn't gone as much in favor of the GOP, but we're definitely seeing a turn in terms of voters here in favor of the GOP. Another GOP safe stronghold is the state of Maryland. As crazy as that sounds, Maryland, the Republican stronghold. And it is real. This is a very real impossibility for a Democrat to win here in the governor election against Larry Hogan. Unfortunately for Ben Jealous, he's not in the right time. Maybe in an open seat, but not now. Larry Hogan is too popular, and it's going to be very hard. Right now, I believe 538 puts Ben Jealous at 1.6% chance of winning. 1.6%. Okay, out of 100%, that is not going to win in this election, and he's not going to win this election. So Maryland goes in the safe GOP column. Another state, Tennessee, that one is expected to go into the safe GOP column. I don't see why anyone really expects anything otherwise. Alabama has no real data, but right now it goes in the favor of the GOP in the safe column because it is Alabama, but I guess you could make an argument for it if the race does narrow down. But right now, safe GOP seat. Another safe GOP seat is the state of Arkansas, right now going heavily in favor of the GOP. Hutchinson is a very popular governor, and he's going to win this election based off the data we have today. Another Democratic state won by Hillary Clinton, all Democratic congressmen now having a Republican governor, is the state of Massachusetts. The most popular governor in the United States comes from a solid Democratic state as a Republican. The state of Massachusetts now goes heavily in favor of the GOP, larger than Maryland, larger than Arizona, then Tennessee, and Alabama. The only one really on par with it is the state of Arkansas, both of which are around 30% margins in favor of the GOP candidates here. High 60s, that's also his approval rating. Charlie Baker, the most popular governor, is in the high 60s in terms of his approval. South Carolina, another race now in the safe GOP column based off the data. But overall, that race should be contested. The Democratic candidate did phenomenal in that debate. I do not really see why this race hasn't narrowed down. It could be just the fact that this is a Republican state, but you would really expect these candidates to even out. But right now, it's a safe GOP state. Wyoming, of course, a safe GOP state. Right now, I do not see any election data here, so this one just goes in the safe GOP column based off the results from before. Going over to Texas, that is a safe GOP state. This is a race I actually rated as a lean Republican race in the early parts of, July, August 2017. As a lean GOP state, it has since moved into the safe GOP column based off election data and also in my predictions. So definitely gone more in favor of the GOP, as has the Senate race. Going over to Nebraska, this race is has always been in the safe GOP column along with Idaho, which currently has an open seat. So we currently have 11 safe GOP seats. Okay, the Democrats have a total of 5 compared to 11. And we're going to go through those safe Democratic states starting right now. Obviously, the one that is the most obvious, I guess you would say, is the state of California. Stereotyped as a communist state, as a Democratic state, you really can expect the Democrats to obviously have a large win here. Those stereotypes may or may not be true in different parts of California. Regardless, the Democrats are winning here. And there was a point in time where Republicans, not Republicans generally, not national Republicans, but some Republicans on my YouTube channel made arguments as to why John Cox would win here. Not happening. Going over to Illinois, that one is a safe Democratic seat. Now, the reason why this one is actually significant is this currently has a Republican governor. The state of Illinois has a Republican governor. If you look in the map here, it goes from red to blue. Looking at our new map. So right now we're looking at the election data. Illinois goes safe in favor of the Democratic Party. That does not spell out good news for this incumbent who is running for re-election. And a couple of other states with Democratic candidates that are leading by considerable margins have Republican incumbents, but they're not running, either because they can or they're too afraid. Going over to Pennsylvania, that is a state that currently has a safe safe Democratic characterization. This is a Trump state from 2016. Keep that in mind. So a safe Trump state, now safe in the Senate race and now safe in the governor race. What can the GOP win here is the new question. Going over to Hawaii, that is now a safe Democratic state. Pretty much the biggest hurdle here is the Democratic primary. The same 5 to 6 names pop up time and time again, whether it be the House district, the first one, or the second one, because they have representatives that represented both at different times, or whether it be the governor election, or one of the 2 Senate elections, or statewide elected offices. These recurring names definitely are here, and the Republicans are just thrown away. Keep in mind, this is the only state that has a 100% party-controlled state Senate, and that is the state of Hawaii, with 25 Democrats, 0 Republicans. The last Republican was defeated in 2016. Going over to New York is another state now in favor of the Democratic Party in the safe column, which is pretty much expected. So the Democrats have 12, the Republicans have 18. Let's go ahead and take a look at the likely Republican states. So we have 3 of them actually. State of South Dakota in favor, no data here, but right now this one is currently likely according to 538, so we're characterizing it as a likely state. But New Hampshire and Vermont, 2 Democratic states from 2016, Vermont more than New Hampshire, are now in the likely GOP column. So if we're looking up in the Northeast, based off the map we see here, we're seeing a lot more red in areas that we should be seeing a lot more blue in, along with the state of Maryland. So that covers all of our likely states. That's a total of 3 likely states for the GOP, but we have a total of 6 Democratic states that are in the likely column for the Democratic Party. So let's go ahead and characterize those starting right now. Connecticut is one of those states going likely in favor of the Democratic Party. Now, the reason why I wanted to make a point to say this is because Connecticut has a very unpopular Democratic incumbent. That's the only reason why this race is so contested. This is any other election year, Republican or Democratic wave year, or presidential election year, this state would probably be in the likely safe area, not just in the lower end of the likely column. Right now, it's around an 8 to 9% margin, but still, this is Connecticut. Should be a Democratic state. Unfortunately for the Democrats, it's not because of the unpopular Democratic governor. Colorado, with a current pretty popular, possibly 2020 presidential candidate as an incumbent who's not running for re-election, leaving a good taste in the mouth for the Democratic candidates there. So that one goes in favor of the Democratic Party. Michigan now likely for the Democrats, along with the state of Minnesota with Tim Walz there, Gretchen Whitmer in the state of Michigan. New Mexico has, let's see, actually, I don't even know if I remember it at this point. I think Graham, if I'm not mistaken, but could be mistaken. That one typically I know, but I guess for some reason this one isn't coming to me. And Rhode Island with Raimondo, I don't know how to pronounce it 100%, but that one is in the likely Democratic column as of right now. Now, in terms of the leaning GOP states, we have a total of 3 of them. Some may be a little bit more surprising. So we have the first state, the state of Alaska. That one goes in the lean GOP column. So that is a pickup in favor of the GOP. So +1 from the independent column now to the GOP column. So that one goes in favor of the GOP. Going over to the state of Oklahoma, that is another state now in favor of the Republican Party by a narrow margin, 1 to 5%, which is why it's in the lean Republican column. That one goes to the Republican Party, but there was a possibility of it going to the Democrats, but leading into the election, probably not as possible. Georgia in the lean Republican column, that covers all 3 states, and now we can move over into the leaning Democratic column, and there is a lot of them. Okay, let's start off. The state of Maine, that is a lean Democratic state, along with the state of Florida, which is pretty surprising, but not too unexpected, along with so I just said along with Iowa, but Iowa's a little bit more crazy. because we're looking at Iowa, a state that Trump almost won by 10% now, and for some reason favoring the Democrats in the lean column. Very interesting. Along with the state of Ohio, which was nearing 10% as well, in the lean GOP column. Oregon, which is typically characterized as a safe state for the Democrats, now in the lean column, along with the state of Wisconsin. That covers all of the states. 6 out of 6 states covered in favor of the Democratic Party. Now, in terms of very, very close races, we have some very close ones. So one state in the tilt column for the GOP and one in the pure toss-up column as a tie, because the opinion polls show a tie. And the current tilt GOP column goes to Kansas. This one is now between 1% of the vote, less than 1% of the vote. That is surprising for many reasons, considering that this is the state of Kansas. This should be a Republican state, but for the GOP, it is not. But they're currently leading by around 0.8%, but that may not be enough to narrowly edge them over on Election Day, which is why this state is in the tilt GOP column. And right now, Nevada is a tie based off the election data, and that wraps up today's video. So we go from 16 Democrats, 1 independent, and 33 Republicans to no independents, 1 pure toss-up, 24 Democrats from 16, a net gain of 8, and 25 Republicans. So if we're looking at this map, a lot more blue in this map than red before. So that pretty much covers today's video. Thank you guys for watching this video. Comment down suggestions below, and I will see you all tomorrow.